Have you ever wondered how long a secret can live inside a person? For Eleanor Vance, the answer is 46 years and counting. She lives in a small forgotten town where time seems to have stopped. Eleanor claims she has been pregnant since 1979. Her neighbours whisper, mad, cursed, they say. But when you look into her eyes, you see a chilling certainty. Her story begins on a cold autumn morning in 1979. She was 24, newly married, filled with hope. The doctor confirmed her pregnancy. Due date June 1980, but June came and went. So did the years. Eleanor remained pregnant. She stopped seeing doctors. They offered only confusion and pity. She chose solitude instead. When I met Eleanor, she was by her window, watching the world pass. She simply stated her reality. He's just not ready yet. He's waiting for the right time. Her calmness was unsettling, a quiet acceptance of a life suspended in time. I asked about her husband. He left in 1982, unable to handle the waiting. She has been alone with her unborn child ever since, in a house that holds its breath. I tracked down Dr. Alistair Finch, Eleanor's first doctor, now retired. The name Eleanor Vance sparked fear. He called her case the anomaly. He let me see his old files, warning, some things are better left buried. The clinic's basement was cold, filled with forgotten histories. I found the V-drawer rusted shut and pried it open, the folder, Vance, Eleanor. It felt heavier than the others. The first page was a standard pregnancy confirmation, October 1979. But the notes grew stranger. Month after month the baby's heartbeat was strong, but there was no growth beyond 5 months. The entries became frantic. Specialists were consulted. Theories of cryptic pregnancies, phantom tumours, none fit. The last entry, September 1981, the sound is wrong, it's not a heartbeat, it's a rhythm, it's listening. Clipped to the page, a radiologist's note, image inconclusive, dense mass obscuring fetus, patient claims to have heard it whisper her name. The file closed with a sense of dread. I left the clinic with more questions than answers. The anomaly was not just medical, it was something else. The file felt like a warning. Eleanor's secret was bigger than anyone realized. Back in Eleanor's town, her house looked stagnant, as if time had stopped. The paint peeled, the garden was overgrown, windows vacant. Inside, the air was thick-scented with old paper and dried flowers. The house was a time capsule. Rotary phone plastic-covered sofa photos of a life paused. Silence reigned, broken only by the ticking of a grandfather clock. Eleanor led me through quiet rooms, her hand always on her belly. The nursery was perfectly preserved, waiting. A crib, a mobile of yellow ducks, tiny clothes folded neatly. But it felt like a tomb, heavy with disappointment. I noticed something odd. Behind the crib, the wallpaper was peeling, revealing faint dark lines. Scratches, I asked Eleanor. Her calm faltered. "Just the house settling?" she said, too quickly. She guided me out, closing the door firmly, but I'd seen enough. They weren't random scratches, they were symbols. The house was more than just old, it was hiding something. What happens when a house does more than just settle? What if it remembers? I couldn't shake the image of those symbols or the radiologist's note. I found Dr. Marcus Thorne, the radiologist, living in seclusion. He agreed to meet only when I mentioned Eleanor and the dense mass. Dr. Thorne was a changed man, hands trembling. He described the 1981 ultrasound, Eleanor serene, the equipment new. He saw the baby, but also a shadow, a void that absorbed the ultrasound waves, pulsing with its own rhythm. It felt like looking into a starless night sky, compressed into a fist. Then a sound came through the speaker. Not static, not feedback, but a voice whispering Eleanor's name. Eleanor heard it too. She whispered back, "Not yet. It's not time." Dr. Thorne shut off the machine and resigned the next day. That thing was not a mass, he told me. It was a presence, and it was aware. The encounter destroyed his career and his faith in science. The shadow was not just an anomaly. It was something sentient. The ultrasound was never repeated. The presence remained, unseen but felt. Eleanor's pregnancy was not just a medical mystery, it was a haunting. The shadow was still there, waiting, and it was listening. The truth was darker than anyone imagined. The house, the symbols, the hum. They were all connected. And I was in the middle of it. Dr. Thorne's story chilled me, a presence, a shadow that whispers. I sent a photo of the nursery symbols to a symbologist. Her reply, a language that shouldn't exist. I had to see more. I returned to Hemlock Lane at night, slipping inside. The silence was heavier. The grandfather clock stopped. In the nursery I peeled back wallpaper. Symbols covered the wall, scratched deep into plaster, spiralling from behind the crib. As I stared, a floorboard creaked upstairs. I wasn't alone. I turned off my flashlight, heart pounding. Heavy, dragging footsteps paced above me, too heavy for Eleanor. Then a low, rhythmic hum came from inside the walls. I fled, the sound echoing in my bones. The house was alive, and something was moving within it. The symbols were not just marks. They were messages. The hum was not just noise, it was communication. The presence was growing stronger. The waiting was almost over. I realized I was trespassing on something sacred or dangerous. The house was a vessel, just like Eleanor, and both were full. The hum followed me into the night. I couldn't escape it. The humming drove me out. I dug into the town's history, focusing on 1979. I found reports of strange weather, missing livestock, and a buried article, mysterious lights and sonic boom rattle county. Residents saw a flash of light over the woods near Hemlock Lane, followed by a deep vibration. The event occurred the same week Eleanor conceived. An amateur astronomer saw the flash, not a meteor, but a blinding pulse that expanded outward. After the light, there was total silence for almost a minute. The timing was too perfect to be coincidence. The strange light, the boom, and then Eleanor's impossible pregnancy. Was her child's conception linked to this event? Was something else involved, something not of this world? The doctor's note echoed, "The sound is wrong." The anomaly was not just medical or personal, it was cosmic. I confronted Eleanor with everything. The symbols, the ultrasound, the 1979 event. She listened, expression unreadable. "You think you're the first to ask? My husband asked too." She confessed to scratching the symbols, guided by dreams, lullabies for the one inside her. She was not its mother, but its vessel. Then she showed me a fetal Doppler. "Doctors couldn't find his heartbeat anymore," she said, "but I can. You just have to know where to listen." She placed the probe on her stomach. At first only static, then a faint, steady heartbeat. She moved the probe. Another sound emerged, deeper, slower, a vibrating hum. Two rhythms, one biological, one other. "There are two," she whispered, a tear rolling down her cheek. "One is my son, the other is his guardian." The guardian, the shadow, the hum, the presence. Both lived inside her, waiting. The house, the symbols, the hum. They were all part of the same story. Eleanor was not just a mother, she was an ark. The waiting was not just for a birth, but for an arrival. The hum was a signal. The world was not ready. The guardian was keeping it that way. The truth was more terrifying than I imagined. The second heartbeat was not human. It was a warning. The waiting was almost over, and I was a witness. The revelation of two presences changed everything. The guardian, the shadow, the hum, wasn't just protecting the fetus. It was connected to it. Eleanor said, "It's waiting for the quiet. The world is too loud, too bright." The birth was conditional, waiting for a trigger. The nursery felt like the epicenter. Eleanor let me in. The cold was sharper, the symbols darker. She looked into the crib with love and sorrow. "He loves this room. He can feel it." She believed her child was conscious, aware, communicating with the space. Sometimes she saw flickers of movement, the mobile spinning, faint music from the crib. She saw these as signs, not hauntings. She was a willing gatekeeper, nurturing two lives until they decided to emerge. My eyes were drawn to the floorboards beneath the crib, dark, stained, warped. I touched the stain. It was slick with no smell. "The house weeps for him," Eleanor said. But it wasn't the house. It was a secretion. A byproduct of the presence. What kind of being leaves a physical trace without ever being present? The nursery was not just a room, it was a threshold. And something was waiting on the other side. 46 years is a lifetime. Eleanor has spent hers waiting. But waiting for what? A baby? Or something else? Her son is a fusion of human and something alien. The guardian is its other half. They are two parts of a single entity, gestating, waiting for a signal. This is not a medical anomaly, it's an incubation. Eleanor is an ark carrying a passenger from an unknown shore. The symbols are instructions. The hum is a power source. The house is a cradle, a landing pad for an arrival, not a birth. The most disturbing thought, what is it waiting for? Waiting for the quiet, the end of noise, the end of civilization? Perhaps its birth is not for our world, but the one that comes after. Her pregnancy is a countdown for the rest of us. The story is not over, the fuse is burning. Last night I dreamt of symbols on my own walls. I woke to a low hum in my bones. If you hear a hum in the quiet, listen closely. It may be a sign the waiting is almost over. Are you ready to meet what is coming?